Welcome to yet another episode of In Conversation With. Today we have with us a guest all the way from Munich. Please join me in welcoming the CEO of 3DEXCITE, Mr. Tom Acland. Tom, welcome, and we are so glad to have you here. Now we know that 3DEXCITE is into high-tech, real-time 3D visualizations. Could you tell us or shed more light on how 3DEXCITE is aligned onto the mission, the overall mission of Dassault Systems?
Yes, I think there's often some misconception about the role of 3DEXCITE in the context of what Dassault Systèmes is trying to do overall. Sometimes we are just put in the corner of making shiny things, making pretty things. I think this comes really from probably legacy thinking about how marketing and sales works in a manufacturing context. Because for a long time, manufacturing concerns really stopped at the factory gate. So the job of a manufacturer was obviously to make things and then to ship them in large volumes on containers and logistics around the world. And in that mode, the role of the manufacturer in terms of marketing and sales was primarily to create some advertising content and maybe create some collateral to support service and maintenance through documentation and so on and so forth. There have been occasions in the past, obviously particularly in the automotive sector, where you've got very complex products meeting consumer goods, which has presented some unique challenges and allowed us to add value in marketing and sales in a traditional way. But I think today, the big transformational aspect, which is allowing 3DEXCITE to become more valuable in the context of Dassault Systèmes, is because of the way the products themselves are changing. So we're not just talking about marketing and sales in a traditional sense anymore. We're talking about commercial innovation. So the way that companies innovate, not only in terms of their product, but how their product comes to market and the value that that product creates for end users. That's driven by technology, it's driven by connectivity, and also by the way that the media landscape in which we all sort of operate day to day is changing. But it represents greater opportunities for Dassault Systèmes overall in terms of continuity, in terms of how we design products specifically to unfold greater value for their customers as they are used in the field. And that's going to require a lot more communication of those value propositions, even as they evolve once a product has arrived in market. So I think there's a greater need for what 3DEXCITE does in the context of Dassault Systèmes, but I think there is a huge complementarity between the projection of the value proposition to a customer and its design intent upstream as people think about how they can create better products for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think me being a marketer myself, I can totally connect to what you're saying. In fact, Peter Drucker put it very beautifully. He said, the only two pillars driving any business is innovation and marketing. If you don't have these two in place, your business cannot scale up, it cannot succeed. So I'm great that you, under your leadership, the whole brand is doing such phenomenal things, leveling up the game in terms of how marketing is positioned overall. So
because the way that mass industrial production was created was leveraged through mass media and through mass advertising. And as products become more personalized and more unique, obviously the way that they are brought into market, introduced into market, has to change as a result. Yeah. So there are two sides of this coin. There's what the product is and what it does and how it is brought to market. Yeah. And as we change the one side, we have to change the other.
Do you want to elaborate more on 3DEXCITE as a brand and its capabilities?
Sure. I mean, we've obviously been successful over the last 20 years, going back even before the acquisition, in building pipelines from a technology standpoint, in terms of translating engineering data into something meaningful for end users and for customers and partners, manufacturers. This has been something we've been doing for a very long time. What we're doing at the moment, I think, which is most interesting, is the platformization of that process. So bringing a lot of those technologies, but also the means of operation of those technologies into the 3D Experience platform. This is obviously an ongoing process because it's such a big thing. You can't just do a big bang, but already many of our core processes, if it's in terms of creating the commercial twin or the virtual twin for commercialization, are already available on the 3D Experience platform and are leveraged already today by customers in a number of different industries. As we move forward, we'll see that expand into content creation and ultimately into the means to support experiences in live for end users. And in many ways, we're already doing that with customers today. So this isn't just a fantasy or a dream. We're already executing, and we're doing that with the support of the wonderful team here in services and the services teams around the world. So those services teams are allowing us to get into position with our market, with our customers in our markets, to help bring in that technology value proposition and create that end-to-end continuity between design and consumption. Actually being able to understand some of that background is actually very difficult to achieve, and it differentiates us from people who are just creating pictures or just creating experiences, because what we can do, which no one else can do, is make those things true to form and representative of their real forms.
Any parting words for our all employees at DSGS?
I would just say thank you, and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure having you.